So hello everyone. So this is a case of a dermoid cyst. So how will we present our case? So we will say this is a 20-year-old boy who is presented with a painless swelling in the lateral angle of the left orbit for last 5 years, which is gradually increasing in size. There is no pain over the swelling. There is no other swelling in other parts of the body. On examination, there is a soft cystic swelling at lateral angle of the left orbit, which is globular in shape, and the size is about 3 cm into 3 cm. The swelling is fluctuant, but transillumination test is negative. The overlying skin is free. The cyst indents on pressure. There is a bony indentation at the margin of the orbit around the swelling. Right, so this is the diagnosis. What will be the diagnosis of this case? This is a case of a dermoid cyst in the lateral angle of the left lobe orbit. लेफ्ट ऑर्बिट में एक dermoid cyst है in the lateral angle of the left orbit, right? So what can be the other diagnosis? Other diagnosis can be dermoid cyst in the center of the forehead, dermoid cyst in the lateral angle of the right orbit, then a retroauricular dermoid cyst on the right or left side, then there can be a dermoid cyst in the scalp, then there can be a preauricular dermoid cyst, right? So what can be the other possibilities? The other possibilities can be a sebaceous cyst. It can be a meningocele. It can be due to it can be a lipoma, right? It can be a fibroma. It can be a neurofibroma. These are 5 other possibilities. So how will we demonstrate the fluctuation test in a small swelling? So in a small swelling, the fluctuation test can be demonstrated by placing the index finger of one hand. Suppose our dominant hand is the right hand, so we are placing the index finger of the left hand as the watching finger and index finger of the other hand as the displacing finger, right? So this is one way. And another way can be alternatively the index finger and middle finger of the left hand. If means we are right-handed, means our dominant hand is the right hand, so we can use the index and the middle finger of the left hand are placed apart over the swelling as watching fingers, and the index finger of the right hand presses over the center of the swelling, which is acting as a displacing finger, right? This can also be demonstrated by Paget test. Soft cystic swelling is softer at the center than at the periphery, right? Now, how will we get a positive transillumination test in a dermoid cyst? The dermoid cyst usually contains a turbid fluid, right, containing the sebum and the desquamated epithelial cells, and is usually not transilluminate. So the dermoid cyst, what is contained? It contains some turbid fluid. It contains, and the turbid fluid containing what? Sebum and desquamated epithelial cells, right? And it is usually not transilluminate, and therefore rarely the dermoid cyst may contain some clear fluid, and in that case the dermoid cyst may show positive transillumination, but generally it does not show any positive transillumination test. Now, how to differentiate between a dermoid cyst and a sebaceous cyst, right? Dermoid cyst occurs at the lines of the embryonic fusion, right? At the lines of the embryonic fusion, the dermoid cyst will occur, whereas a sebaceous cyst can occur at any place, means any site it can occur, sebaceous cyst, right? Next, how will we differentiate between a dermoid cyst and a meningocele? The meningocele may be differentiated from the dermoid cyst by the presence of the cuff impulse, right? Meningocele may be differentiated from the dermoid cyst by the presence of a cuff impulse. Then the bony gap is palpable. Then there can be a swelling is transilluminant, right? Whereas in case of dermoid cyst, the swelling is generally a non-transilluminant, right? The negative transillumination. Whereas in case of meningocele, there can be a positive transillumination test. Now, what type of dermoid cyst is this? This is a case of a sequestration dermoid, right? Sequestration dermoid. It is called sequestration dermoid because it is formed by sequestration of some of the ectodermal cells into the deeper layers during the embryonic development, right? So what happens? These sequestrated cells later proliferate and liquefy to form a sequestration dermoid, right? So what are the pathological features of a sequestration dermoid? Pathological features can be the cyst is lined by a stratified squamous epithelium, which may contain what? Hair follicles, right? It may contain hair follicles. Then can be any sweat glands, then sebaceous glands can be present, right? So the cyst will be lined by a stratified squamous epithelium, which will contain the hair follicles, sweat glands, and sebaceous gland. The cyst contains a toothpaste-like material, right, which is the mixture of these desquamated epithelial cells, sweat, sebum, etc., right? Next is what are the common sites of sequestration dermoid? Common sites can be in the midline, that is in the forehead, it can be at the root of the nose or in the neck, right? Then at the sites of the fusion of the skull bones, right? In the fusion of the skull bones, there is the post-auricular dermoid can occur in there. Then at the inner or the outer angle of the orbit, right? At the inner or the outer angle of the orbit can be there at the anterior triangle of the neck, right? These are the few common sites. So what can be the first is a midline, there is forehead, root of nose or in the neck. Then at the sites of the fusion of the skull bone, there is a post-auricular dermoid can occur. Then at the inner or outer angle of the orbit there can be, or at the anterior angle of the neck, right? Now another question is, that is why a dermoid cyst is called a true cyst. This is called a true cyst because it is lined by squamous epithelium with hair follicle, sebaceous glands and sweat glands, right? So because basically it is lined by squamous epithelium with hair follicle, sebaceous gland and sweat glands, right? The wall of the cyst is lined by a layer of epidermis which is oriented with the basal layer superficially and more mature layers lying deep, right? So this is a case of a dermoid cyst, is a true cyst. So what can be a false cyst? The false cyst is one which is a fluid filled sac not lined by epithelium. So this is the difference. Whereas a dermoid cyst is lined by a squamous epithelium, right? It is lined by squamous epithelium, stratified squamous epithelium. So it is a case of a true cyst. And what are the content of a dermoid cyst? The dermoid cyst generally contains a toothpaste-like material which is formed by the desquamated epithelial cells with or without hair follicles, right? Next comes how will we treat this patient. First of all, we have to do an X-ray of AP view, right, anterior posterior view and lateral view to look for any bony gap in the skull, right? Is there any bony gap or not? So for that we have to do a AP view and a lateral view through which the cyst may extend intracranially, right? Through which the cyst can extend into the intracranially, and if there is no bony gap which suggests no intracranial extension, simple excision of the cyst is done, right? So if in case there is a suspicion of intracranial extension, what can we do? We can do a CT scan of the cranium, right, to access, means to look for whether any intracranial extension is there or not. Then nextly we can do a excision of the cyst, both extracranial excision and intracranial part, by raising an osteoplastic flap or by craniectomy, right? Either by craniectomy we can do an intracranial excision or by raising an osteoplastic flap. And last point we have to remember, that is what are the other types of dermoid cyst. There can be an implantation dermoid, there can be a tubular dermoid or teratomatous dermoid, right? These are the other three types: implantation dermoid, a tubular dermoid and a teratomatous dermoid, right? Thank you.